This story happened a couple of years ago. At the time, I was driving home from work, sort of later at night. I needed to pick up a couple of things, and the only place I noticed that would still be open was a Walgreens. They were usually open later, and the stores never seemed to be busy, so I would occasionally stop there. I went inside the store, and sure enough, I didn't see any other customers and only saw one employee who was working. When I got inside, I realized that I really had to use the bathroom. I wandered around to the back, searching for where they were, and I finally found them. They were in the back side of the store, but the way to get there was a little strange. You had to go through the doors to the back of the store, which led to a little hallway. Through the hallway, I noticed employee lockers and a really dusty floor. Then to the left was the bathrooms. I walked inside and into one of the 2 bathroom stalls that were in there. I was inside for maybe a minute. When I was about to get up and leave, I heard a couple of knocks on the stall door right in front of me. I was super startled by this. I hadn't heard the bathroom door open at all, and I didn't know there was anybody else in there. Besides, there were 2 stalls in this bathroom, so why would somebody be knocking on mine? I could barely see clothing through the crack of the stall door, and I had no idea who the person was. It caught me off guard, and I was speechless for a few seconds before finally answering with, "I'm in here." Nobody answered that, and the knocking stopped. I saw the person leave the front of the stall that I was in, but they didn't exit the bathroom. I used this opportunity to quickly get up, leave the stall, and go to the bathroom sink. As I was washing my hands, I looked in the bathroom mirror to see who else was in there with me. Whoever had been in there, I couldn't see, and the other stall door was open. However, I started to hear a slow and creepy laugh coming from the corner of the bathroom to inside where the other stall was. It gave me the creeps how they just laughed like that, as if they were trying to scare me. I quickly finished washing my hands and then opened the bathroom door. I was so happy to be out of there. I then made my way down the employee hallway back towards the store. I made it just about to the door, maybe 5 feet away, when I suddenly got a tap on my shoulder from behind. I turned around and didn't see anybody, but I did see the door to the bathroom just barely shutting. I left there in a hurry and didn't even bother to buy the things I had meant to get. I just left the place. It was an extremely creepy experience. Even when I tell the story, it doesn't quite do it justice just how creepy it was to be in that moment. I used to work at a CVS a couple of years ago. I remember that I had been working there for a few months, and one night I was working a later shift at night. I was working at the counter, ringing up customers and basically just chilling or doing small tasks in between them. We were never really that busy, but especially when it got a little bit later, it would be really quiet. At one point, a man came up and bought something and left. After that, we didn't get any customers for at least 30 minutes. The store was as quiet as it could be, and I wasn't bothered because we closed in less than an hour. I was still behind the counter by the cash register when I heard a noise inside the store a ways away. This got my attention because of how quiet the store had been for the last half hour or so. I hadn't heard or seen anyone at all, so this was strange. I looked out and scanned around the store for who could be there. Then I noticed movement just past the aisle that was farthest from me. I kept my eye on it, waiting to see who was there. Then suddenly, a man jumped out and stood facing me. The man was wearing a type of face mask with sunglasses. The sunglasses, I could tell, were from inside our store because they still had a big tag on them. After staring at me for a good 5 seconds, the man pulled off the glasses and the mask as well. It revealed that he had an insane smile on his face. The man looked to be out of his mind and was smiling with an extremely large smile, and at the same time, he had his eyes about as wide open as they could go. It was a terrifying sight. He just stood there, and I broke the silence by saying hi to him, but in a very nervous voice. The man didn't reply to me, but with the same big smile and wide eyes, he slowly took a couple of steps in my direction. He wasn't holding anything, so it didn't look like he planned on buying something. He continued to take very slow steps and walk closer to me, while the whole time he kept that creepy smile on his face. I asked him if I could help him, but that didn't faze him a bit, and he continued. I watched him walk all the way over to me, but instead of going to the front of the counter where most customers do, he walked over to the side where the employees enter to go behind. When the man started to go there, I told him that was for employees only. He ignored me still and kept slowly walking. At this point, I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't know what to do, but I wanted to get out of there. I turned and moved to the far end of the counter and looked around in a panic. I was considering my options. Do I jump over the counter? Do I turn and face him? Or do I look for something to use as a weapon in case he attacks me? I decided to turn back around and see where he was now. But when I looked back, the man was gone. I guessed maybe he had ducked behind the end of the counter and was hiding or something. I'm not sure how the man got away, but I know he was only about 15 feet away from me before I turned my back. And after I had turned my back for maybe 10 seconds, the man was now gone. I stood there looking around for a few minutes. The place was completely silent. I finally was able to move and look all around the counter. The man was nowhere to be seen now. We closed soon, and I ended up searching all around the store. The man wasn't anywhere inside. I looked really good and ended up just closing up and leaving after that. Still to this day, I have no idea what happened. This happened a couple of months ago. At the time, I was shopping at CVS Pharmacy, just getting a couple of products like soap, Q-tips, and those sort of things. I had a few things in my hands that I was going to buy, and was looking for a certain brand of toothpaste. It was nighttime, and the store was mostly quiet. However, there were a few other people shopping. One of them was also in the same aisle looking at toothpaste. It was a woman who looked to be around the same age as me, and I'm not going to lie, after noticing her, I found her attractive. As I was looking at the toothpaste, the woman said hi to me. We made some very basic and friendly conversation, and then the woman asked me if I knew anything about cars at all. I like to think that I know a decent amount, and I told her that I did. She explained to me her car was having a lot of problems lately and was in the parking lot dead right now. She did say she had called a roadside service, but they would take a while, and asked if I wanted to take a look. I told her yes, because I figured I might be able to tell what was wrong with her car. I had, after all, worked on my own cars several times before. We both finished up our shopping and talked to each other as we did. Then we checked out and left the store. We were getting along great, and we both went out into the parking lot, and I saw there were 2 other cars in the parking lot besides mine. I started walking towards those 2, assuming one was hers, but the woman then told me neither car belonged to her. Instead, she told me to follow her and led me to the back of the parking lot. She said she was parked 2 blocks away, and at the back of the parking lot, she entered this grassy area and a small woods. Now, over here was like pitch black darkness, and the woods was really dense. It seemed creepy to me, but the woman had been so friendly, I completely ignored my feelings. There was a little path through the woods, and when I entered it with her, I could actually see it led to another street with several cars parked on it. She pointed to one of the cars and told me that was hers. We made our way through the path, but then instead of continuing down the path out of the woods, which was only like 30 more feet, she suddenly veered off to the left. She walked straight into the dense wooded area, and I completely lost her due to how dark it was. I looked to the left, and then I kind of started into the woods to see where she had gone. I then heard noises to the left side of me, and then to the right on the other side of the path. I was pretty confused and looked to the noises. I saw a large man emerge about 5 feet in front of me and come at me as if he was going to grab me. I noticed another man behind me charging at me as well. Both men wore sweatshirts with the hoods pulled up all the way. I backed away before one of them reached out to grab me. Right then, I went deeper into the woods, feeling myself being scratched sharply by a random tree branch. I turned back and sprinted through the woods briefly, and then back onto the path towards the CVS parking lot. I heard multiple people running after me as I did. I barely made it to my car and got inside before speeding out of there. I left with maybe 2 feet to spare before the men reached my car. This is something that I've thought about quite a bit since then. I have to feel as though I was set up by that woman to probably get robbed or something like that.